Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Liefeld, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man. Punch, where's the birdie at? Linkara. He has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara. Coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara. This comic sucks. Linkara. Hello and welcome to Time of Atop the Fourth Wall Live. I get so used to the procedure. I say the name of the live show, and then people clap. It's like they're quiet. Why are they quiet?
We need an applause sign.
Yes, just.
Here, I'll just do that every time I say something funny. If this is your first time seeing Atop the Fourth Wall in live or recorded form, congratulations! You are one of the living that envy the dead. As you can see, I am reading from a script and have obviously not rehearsed this ahead of time, so I apologize in advance if I stutter, slur my words, lose my place, or pronounce any misspellings in my scraps. Also, I know that people can get a little excited during these live shows and want to throw out their own jokes, but just be aware, I am recording this. So remember, if you're not funny, you're being not funny in front of thousands of people. Well, here we are again at Animinneapolis with our focus on various bits of nerdery and geekery. However, some people just like to mix those different forms of nerddom together to create something either weird or of its own unique quality. So behold, this little Reese's peanut butter cup of a comic, Star Trek, the manga. The manga was produced by Tokyo Pop in 2006 in honor of Star Trek's 40th anniversary. However, we are not going to start from the beginning, but instead from Volume 3, Kakani Shinko, or To Boldly Go. They decided to do it in Japanese when they realized they were essentially telling their audience to go away. The story we're going to be reading was written by King Among Geeks and former Wesley Crusher, Will Wheaton. I am maintaining my hope that every crew member is now wearing some kind of ugly sweater. We begin his story, Cura Te Ipsum, Latin for take care of your own self, or cure yourself. It's basically the basis for the phrase, physician, heal thyself. Or in other words, I've had to translate stuff in this book into 2 other languages so far. At this rate, enjoy the next 7 hours as I walk you through translations of every piece of dialogue. Also of note is that despite supposedly being a manga, it was made and printed from left to right instead of right to left. So really, it's just a pocket-sized comic book resembling manga, so what the hell was even the point? Anyway, we open with this guy, Dr. Hackard, having finished making some modifications to the Enterprise's warp engines. Mr. Scott, I've realigned and refaceted the final dilithium crystal. The Enterprise is about to be the fastest ship in the fleet. When this ship hits warp 8, you're gonna see some serious technobabble. And as soon as they activate the engines, it blows up in their faces. And this, my friends, is what happens when you try to roll the odometer back on a spaceship. Also, a bunch of dead people.
Oh, hey!
The downside is, of course, the tragic loss of life. The upside is that Dr. McCoy can now say, "He's dead, Jim," 4 times in a row, which I think would be a new record for him. Captain's log, stardate 5216.4. A catastrophic accident has crippled my ship and claimed the lives of a Starfleet dilithium specialist and several engineering crewmen. Should have taken her in to get the oil changed, Captain. Your insurance is going to be hell now. Anyway, warp drive, shields, and the transporter are all offline, and the damage is extensive enough to require a starbase visit. Unfortunately, the nearest starbase is months away at impulse power, so they need another option. Fortunately, they can get the warp drive operational again if they get some new dilithium crystals. And what a coinky-dink! There appears to be a planet a few days away that seems to have large deposits of it. This is how Star Trek works. The Enterprise may be the only ship that's ever in range, but they're also always close by stuff that will help them. After arriving, they scan the planet and see that the dilithium is in a mountainous region. There is humanoid life on the planet, 2 cities that appear to be at war with each other, which probably makes their football games all the more awkward. The populations are also not too technologically advanced, so they want to avoid making contact with them and breaking the Prime Directive, aka the Federation's standing order to let everybody walk all over you. That being said, this is a manga, so despite them not being technologically advanced, I fully expect Kirk to fight Escaflowne at some point.
Use bone time.
And then we get this very necessary spread over 2 pages of the shuttle flying over the planet.
Turn your phone off! Oh!
It was.
Not enough!
Yeah, I know.
They're not suspecting anything so far. Keep it up.
Your plan was great.
My plan was great. And then we get this very necessary spread over 2 pages of the shuttle flying over the planet. Look at how completely necessary these shots are. I would not have believed the shuttle had landed if we had just seen it on the ground. Also, notice how in one of these panels they appear to be turned the other way. I'm guessing somebody forgot to use the bathroom before they went on the trip. Spock, I'm looking at you.
It'd be illogical not to.
What's your name, Lieutenant? Arby, sir. I make roast beef sandwiches at the mess hall. Is this your first away mission? My first on the Enterprise, sir.
Dead.
So we should probably be calling him Lieutenant Deadmeat then. Anyway, they've landed and Spock scans the area with his tricorder. He warns the group that there's a lot of ionized dilithium gas in the area and that their phasers could ignite it. Naturally, something highly explosive like that is perfectly safe to breathe. Yeah. This is a beautiful planet. Let's exploit the hell out of it! Captain, I'm reading, halt right there! Humanoid life forms ahead. Good work, Spock. This is why you get second billing in the credits. A group of armed soldiers demand that our heroes identify themselves. We're explorers. From where? From a long way away, beyond those mountains. We're from, Spock, help me out here. Well, you see, in the middle of the earth, in the land of the Shire. I love how that joke works on multiple levels. One of the soldiers says they're Zoran spies in an over-the-top manner, or just that a train is about to collide with them. I assure you, we are just explorers. Our business is to explore new places, to seek out new civilizations, to boldly go. Just look at Spock's facial expression. It's like not even he can believe Kirk is actually going there. Before Kirk can finish the speech, an explosion rocks the area. And then soon people are shooting at each other, with Kirk yelling out to his people not to fire phasers. Not because of the explosive gases, just that he's been watching a lot of action movies lately and wants to see where this is going. Naturally, this leads to Lieutenant Arby Beef and Cheddar picking up one of the locals' guns and shooting people with it. The peace-loving Federation, everyone! This leads to Arby getting his shoulder blown off. No, you fools! This is a manga! Aim for the face and give him a sexy, disfiguring scar! In anger, he raises his phaser, but unfortunately that means he's not blocking the sun anymore for the cameraman. And yep, he fires the phaser and explodes.
So
Moment of silence now for Lieutenant Arby. He truly was good mood food.
Is he seriously a skeleton in that last panel?
Yep.
Oh.
He real dead.
As the smoke from the explosion clears, Scotty and the mining team contact Kirk. Are you alright, Captain? What in the blazes is going on down there? We walked into something down here, Scotty. We've lost Lieutenant Arby. So, yeah, might want to scrap this one from the logbook. We've never heard of Lieutenant Horsey Sauce.
Arby don't have...
McCoy calls Kirk over. It seems Spock was seriously injured. Oh my god, Spock is injured! He's a main character! We've got to do something!
We won't have sufficient logic.
Some of the locals, one of whom is a healer named Misha, approaches. They bandage up Spock in record time, but he's got some kind of weird infection on his neck. Oh, and yes, these people all look like normal humans. Because why wouldn't they? Even in Manga, we have a budget to maintain here, and we just can't afford any fancy makeup effects. Misha calls up her clinic on her cell phone and says that she's got a wounded man coming in. I'm assuming that thanks to Lieutenant Cannon Fodder, all the other soldiers in the area are, well, they're with the Arby's Polar Swirl now. On the way there, Misha explains about the war. The two groups of people, the Kalans and the Zorans, were at peace until a few years ago when a plague hit. Suspicion and fear grew, and the Kalan scientists discovered a cure for the plague and some moss that could easily be processed. However, the plague spread so fast, and it turned out the moss was rarer than they had originally thought, so suspicion turned to hatred, hatred led to suffering, and then the dark side of the Force somehow got involved. Conveniently, the cure also serves as a vaccination from future infection, so it's even more important that they get their hands on some. One of the military guys, Taro, wants to know more about the weapon Arby used. Where I come from, we have far more effective means of dealing with aggression. We make them listen to Kids Bop albums continuously for a week. That usually calms the aggression, or drives them insane. Either way works, really. I misjudged you, Kirk. Your Mr. Arby made a very noble sacrifice and saved us all. It wasn't noble, Taro. It was a tragic and avoidable loss. Oh, nice, Kirk. Is your log entry going to reflect that, too? Lieutenant Arby was a moron who couldn't obey instructions. He got blown up, and now we can hire on Ensign McDonald and Lieutenant Commander Wendy. After arriving at the clinic, Misha takes some of the moss she had collected before the attack to process, but McCoy wants to get his hands on some to create more on the Enterprise. I can synthesize enough to completely violate the Prime Directive. We can help them! Of course we can help them. The question is, should we? We can remove the whole reason they're fighting, Jim. We've both seen enough conflict to know that it's never as simple as that. Oh, really, Kirk? You really want to try that? Because I am a colossal dork and can point out when you've done this very same thing. Case in point, the episode A Taste of Armageddon, where Kirk openly caused wanton destruction and interfered in the sovereign affairs of a planet in order to end their war with a neighboring world. Well, that and to save them from their very silly hats.
We should do something! Should we do something?
We also see that at some point they put Spock in this robe. Given that this is a manga and half his face is injured, I now fully expect Spock to wake up and start attacking people with a samurai sword on a quest for vengeance.
Yes!
Or he'll just start yelling, Kagome! And it's an opportunity. Ship's log, stardate 5216.8. Lieutenant Sulu in temporary command.
Yes!
Yes, George Takei!
Crews are working to repair the warp engines and transporters, but the damage is extensive and progress is slow. Repairs on the shields will have to wait until Mr. Scott returns from the planet. Just wanted to remind the audience that I'm still here. I mean, it won't make any difference in the story, but, well, I felt like I needed some screen time.
You did.
Back on the planet, Scotty contacts Kirk to let him know that they found a dilithium vein, but also a whole lot of vegetation. Aye, it's the strangest bioluminescent moss I've ever seen, sir. Wait, the moss is bioluminescent. Aye, it's a nasty purplish thing with a faint greenish glow and tufts of red fur on the ends. Scotty, you may have just saved Spock's life. We'll sell the moss as an energy-efficient light bulb system and make millions! But yeah, Kirk orders Scotty to start harvesting as much of the moss as they can, since Spock needs more of the stuff to treat his condition. Unfortunately, the military has arrived. Mr. Kirk, I'm General Gomi. I want you to pilot the Gundam. Actually, General Gomi wants their phasers, but Kirk naturally refuses to hand them over. And just as naturally, Gomi is willing to take them by force. The downside of having Senpai notice you. And because this is a work of fiction, Gomi goes into his backstory about losing his wife and sons in the war. And it's also revealed that Misha is his daughter!
Oh.
Dun dun dun! So does that mean that she's supposed to pilot the robot? The general orders Taro to take the phaser, but this is Captain Kirk we're talking about, who could win a fist fight with that giant robot if it came down to it. Also, little known fact, Kirk's uniform is made of tissue paper, so just grabbing it will cause it to rip. After adjusting the settings on it, Kirk tosses his phaser into the air, where it explodes, preventing them from getting their hands on it. Just as well, I'm pretty sure one of those birds up there was going to be the next Hitler. The general is pissed about this, but Kirk retorts that they're full of it because they attacked civilians. What's more, Scotty and the mining team arrive with a crap ton of moss, telling them of where they can find enough to cure the plague for both cities. Even though the situation is pretty much what Kirk told McCoy that they were trying to avoid. Really, I think it's just that Kirk wanted to say that he ended the war and doesn't want McCoy to get any credit for it. The general is reluctant to suggest working with the Zorans again, but both Kirk and Misha plead to end this whole thing. And it's just that easy. After some more words from Misha, he sits down and says they're going to heal everyone with the moss. No wonder these people have been at war for so long. Nobody ever thought to say, please, can we stop fighting?
Superman was right!
Yeah. Who remembers Superman 4?
Quest for peace.
If you don't remember, there will be peace on Earth. There will be peace when the governments of Earth cannot not disregard their citizens who want peace long enough. It's really just that easy.
We erased that from my memories.
Yep.
If you really want peace, you'll get it.
Yep, that's it. You just need to want it.
It's the secret.
Taro is shocked at this, but the general is also able to calm him down. Taro, the Zorans will agree to a ceasefire and will work to collect Suja. I know they will because, well, the story's almost done with and we need to wrap this up. The point of war isn't vengeance. It's to not fight until everyone's dead. It's to fight enough to end the war. It's like a video game. You just use up the war meter and then everything's A-okay. And so everyone says their farewells, with Misha not questioning why Spock has pointy ears. Where will you go next? Wherever the stars take me. Hopefully the stars will take me to your apartment, where we will make out.
And that started the second war.
And so our comic ends with the Enterprise on its way to the nearest starbase with a repaired warp drive, and Uhura asking Kirk if he thinks they'll be able to make peace. It won't be easy to set aside the war that's defined their lives for so long, but off the record, I think they'll be okay. And he knows that because of that necklace! Wow, remember that necklace? It played such an important part of this story. It was so important that it was never brought up until this very second.
He stole it from her when he was in his apartment making out.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, it's just all that remains of Arby. Farewell, Arby. I'm thinking you.
To get them to set aside the war they already set aside.
Anyway, this comic is not bad. It's not all that great, though. Fairly standard stuff. War is bad, a simple solution to war, even though wars are fought for a multitude of reasons. The artwork was okay, kind of really simplistic, but it's serviceable. Will Wheaton turns in a decent enough script, but dear lord is that ending rushed, and boy does it feel like nothing all that major was accomplished. That's all I got, so thank you everybody.